What's up, everybody? Rothstein here, Betting Public Sports Show. I'm your beloved host, famed Rothstein, a.k.a. Michael Snackson. Today is Thursday, April 23rd, 2026. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Leave comments. Share the video. I have some sports betting action for you tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. It'll be out early, too. 8 o'clock a.m. It'll be out early. But today I've got a movie review for you. In the past we've done these, just movies that I've wanted to come out and see that were going to be big, that were going to be blockbusters. Mainly, most of them are biopics or biopics, however you're supposed to say that. We're going back to 2015 with NWA, Straight Outta Compton, Biggie, Notorious. The Notorious B.I.G.'s movie, The Notorious. Tupac's movie, All Eyes on Me. What else? I've done a few of them. The Many Saints of Newark, that's not a biopic. That was the Sopranos movie. Michael Jordan movie, Air. And now here we are with Michael Jackson's movie. Or another Michael Jackson movie. Michael. This movie stars Michael's nephew, Jafar, his brother Jermaine's son. Stars him as Michael, as adult Michael. The little boy who plays 10-year-old Michael, because it starts when Michael's 10, right before they go on the Ed Sullivan show, right as they're, honing their craft in Indiana, where he's from. And right before they go on the Ed Sullivan show before they move to L.A. The little boy who's playing Michael Jackson, he did a bang-up job. He was probably the best. The one who's playing 10-year-old Mike. I don't know how old he is. I don't know how old he is in real life. I didn't even get the kid's name, but I'll be looking for him because, especially if he was the one singing. If he was singing, he's got a great voice. But just as an actor, I thought he did really well. Playing, like I said, 5th grade Michael. And that's where the problems of the movie start. Right there. Right as Michael, they do the Ed Sullivan show, then there's no real transition that takes you from that to young adult Michael, 17, 18, 19, off the wall Michael. There's no real transition to help you with that. It's just like, in one scene, he's blah, blah, blah. He's a 10-year-old boy. Then the next scene, he's ready to, he's got an afro ready to do all off the wall and shit. But in that time, they were, setting you up that Joseph, the dad that we've all well known is, was a little abusive and aggressive to his children, including Michael. And that's another thing I want to say. See, I'm giving you an honest movie review. Because when Michael Jackson was at the height of his powers, the 80s, mid-80s, and there on, I was a young kid, 8, 9, 10 years old. So I know the phenom that is Michael Jackson, that was Michael Jackson. It was a little different back then, trust me. I see the Drakes, I see the Taylor Swifts, the Beyoncés, and all that. Chris Brown. I see all these people that y'all love. Trust me, they wasn't fucking with Michael when it came to popularity. That was something different. And I've seen pretty much every movie that they've done about Michael and his growing up and everything. And so, like I said, I'm looking at it as just a movie reviewer, not just like how they doing my dude's story. Because anything about Michael, I'm gonna watch. And probably like it. This movie, I'll get to it at the end. But, so like I was saying, there's no real transition from 10-year-old Michael to young adult Michael. And then, so he's doing, he's grooving and he sings Don't Stop Till You Get Enough in the studio. And, so he sees he's about to blow up. He's with Quincy Jones now. He sees he's about to take off. And all that's cool. Then comes the shit where it gets a little difficult. I'm not gonna lie. It's Michael's setting up to get his nose taken care of. You know, the plastic surgery with his nose. And, you know, they're marking up his face. You know, the doctor's doing whatever, all the precautions. The doctor seems like the white doctor. That's another thing I want to talk about too. It seems like the white doctor kind of try to talk Mike out of the nose surgery. But I want to say this too. While Michael was a kid, you know, 10-year-old Michael, he was introduced to some white bodyguard. He looks kind of racially ambiguous, like some white dude with like red or orange hair. I'm assuming this guy's white. He has a name. I don't know what his name is, but like, it just seemed like, you know, if they were trying to show that him and Michael were close, I didn't really take it as him and Michael were close. They just had a business relationship that you know, dude had to go a little extra on the business because it's Michael. You know, so I just didn't, I focusing on his relationship with Michael, I thought was unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. Because the only thing the dude really did was step in front of Joseph at the end. You know, and rush Michael out of the hospital and shit. You know, but so yeah, they do the plastic surgery markings and ready to do that. And then when he comes back, this is the worst fucking set of makeup I've ever seen. That boy's nose, you know, God bless Jafar Jackson, the kid playing the guy playing adult Michael. You know, it's Michael's nephew. God bless him. He's trying to play as his late uncle that he probably barely knew. You know, I don't know how close they were. That he probably barely knew it. But, you know, he's trying. He's got some of the movements down and all that. But he don't look like shit like Michael in the face. Don't look shit like him. Even with makeup. And when they gave him that, when they were talking about Michael's adult nose. Before he got cut. Before he had the nose surgery. The plastic surgery. When they were looking at his adult nose. This was clearly a prosthetic. It looked horrible. Like, what the fuck? Like, what are y'all trying to say about the nigga? We get it. We know that Michael, okay, he obviously had issues with his nose, insecurities. But, like, this nose that y'all put on this dude, like, damn. I've never seen a nose like that, ever. It's clearly just, you have to see it. You know, oh yeah, spoiler alerts, okay? So apologies. Spoiler alerts are in this video. But yeah, so the doctor tries to talk him out of it, you know, and Michael does it, you know, and then now the new nose, it don't look much better. It looks nothing like the nose Michael had after plastic surgery. That's what I'm saying. His nephew didn't look shit like him to me. A few here and there. But when you look up closer, he doesn't look like Michael in the face. He looked like fucking Arabic or Spanish Michael. Whatever that boy is, whatever his mama is, that's what he looked like. Arabic Mike. Tommy Davidson from In Living Color looked more like Michael Jackson than his nephew. The guy who played Michael Jackson on Martin looked more like Michael Jackson. Hell, there's impersonators now. Michael Trapson, that dude who does the rap songs, trap songs with Michael Jackson. Shit on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he looks more like Michael Jackson than the nephew did. Even with Hollywood type makeup. It just didn't do it for me. And the continuity was terrible. The continuity. 1 minute, first of all, Michael Jackson in every video, we don't know how Michael looked at when he was chilling, but when he, public Mike, one thing for sure, two things for certain, the Bulls, his curl was wet. This motherfucker, it seems, his curl dry and shit. How the hell he do the damn, the Billie Jean at the 25 Motown? He's sweating up a storm, during the performance, and then at the end of the performance, as he walking on stage, he's dry. The continuity was terrible. And there were too many scenes where Michael had a dry Jerry curl. It was like, you mean to tell me during this Motown 25, or no takes during none of these scenes, this nigga's curl didn't need a retouch? Who was doing this? Who did this movie? Like his shit, you know what I'm saying? Joe Jackson, the dude playing Joe Jackson, his shit was moderately wet. The dudes who playing Michael's brothers, you know, Jermaine and Tito and all them niggas, they somewhat look like them. Marlon, especially Marlon's guy. They somewhat look like their characters, but God bless the young bull. Jafar, you know, didn't look shit like his uncle to me. He really didn't. Like I said, there's certain scenes where you know, it was like where close-ups, but like, you look into his eyes, you look at his face, like he don't look shit like Mike. You know, so some of these promos that were coming out, we were kind of fooled. And like I said, it's the dryness of the Jerry curl that was fucking me up. I don't know, maybe that's something that only a black person would catch, but I don't know. His shit stayed dry. You know, like Deion say, my curl looked wet, but it was dry. No, Jafar's shit looked dry, and it was dry. Like the makeup in this movie is terrible. It's terrible. You know, Joe Jackson his face looked big as fuck, like he was like a Martian or something. Like I don't remember his face looking like that. Like, you know, Nia Long played the mom, Catherine. You know, she did a good job. You know, but the mom's kind of a, you know, Miss Catherine Jackson. You know, she's very unassuming lady. You know, understated. You know, dresses moderately. You know, just looks like a bona fide colored lady. If I could borrow from Slim Charles. And you know, so it's not. So you have to go out of your way to fuck up that character. That character's look. But yeah, I don't know. For me personally, after watching it, the Jacksons and American Dream, the one that came on TV like in the 90s, that's still the standard of Michael Jackson's story. That still remains the standard. This, overall, I gotta give it a C- at best. This motherfucker might be a D+. Like I said, the thing that saves it is the boy playing 10-year-old Michael. Because 19-year-old, you know, grown adult Michael just don't look like him and whatnot. He's trying to dance like him. He's got a few moves of him. But like one of those concerts like the last one, it's terrible. The victory tour you know, the dancing, it was terrible. Like, I don't know. Oh, I did not know that Don King was involved in that Pepsi commercial. You know, hooking Michael up with it and his brothers and whatnot. I didn't know that. That was something new I found out. And so that's what I'm saying. This wasn't about, you know, finding new stuff out. I just wanted to see how it was presented. And this was presented horribly. Do not expect any Oscar talk. This is terrible. When white news, when Rotten Tomatoes gave you 27%, they ain't lying. If Siskel and Ebert were still alive together doing, you know, thumbs up, thumb down, they were both thumbs down this motherfucker. It's bad. But tell me what you think in the comments. Did you like it? What do you think of the performance of Jafar, adult Michael? What do you think of the performance of 10-year-old Michael? What do you think of Nia Long's performance? Did you like the song selection? That, yeah, you know. Hell, the most time he looked like Michael was when he was dressed in the Thriller outfit. Real talk. I don't know. You tell me what you think about it. And because all I got to say is these questions and more will be answered on the next episode of Soap. Y'all be safe. Holla.